What is going on, guys? Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Here we are, April 19th. I can't believe we're almost through April already, but Comic News Weekly, each and every Tuesday, available live, available on the replay, or available on the audio podcast. Just search Simple Man's Comics wherever your audio podcasts are found. But we have a great show tonight. We're going to talk about I was going to say comic relief, but that's not the right words. We're having a fundraiser for a comic book to raise money for Ukraine. That's a big topic we're going to discuss. IDW, for the longest time, was known for a lot of their licensed properties. They're getting into more original comic book series. And then speaking of indie comics, Black Box Comics, one of my favorite indie publishers, has an up-and-coming comic book. And then we have a mystery topic that Ryan is going to present us with. And if you guys want to present that mystery topic that we talk about each and every week, comment down below. Let us know a topic you'd like for us to discuss in this show. We will make sure we give you credit for the topic. And before we get into those, let's bring in the panelists. We have Mr. The Amazing with Brian McClay. Brian McClay, what's going on?
Unmute myself first, like a pro that I am. What's going on, brother? It's nice. I'm looking forward to my Tuesday night show with the crew.
Yeah, we were kind of discussing before the show that there's not a big news week. The big one that, of course, a lot of people are talking about that we don't have on the docket would be that Thor trailer. But who knows? We do have some great topics. Indie heavy this week. I'm excited to get back to the roots of indie comic books. But also with us, you guys might know him from the Dank Show on YouTube, Mr. Dan Kim.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm live from the studio.
I'm expecting Kramer to come through.
Yeah, we uncanceled him, so he might come through any second. We're excited to have him back.
Yes, and of course, Mr. Rhinoverse himself. We got Ryan Hayslip, heavy metal, our own heavy metal drummer.
Yes, that is correct. Your own heavy metal drummer.
I know you touched my drumstick because Cops doesn't start till 4.
I'll never put your nuts on my drumstick.
And, of course, bringing in the rear like he always does, Mr. Button Pusher, Mr. Dad Joke, El Beardo Jefe himself, Mr. Comic Man Andy.
Oh, what's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy to be here to push some buttons and have some fun. Hey, Brian, what do you call a cow in the middle of an earthquake?
Milkshake? I don't know.
Yeah, you call that one a milkshake. All right. There it is.
I expect to hear more tonight.
Wow.
We got the man with the best avatar in comics in the chat, Mr. GTK Comic. I know we said that multiple times. Old G.I. Joe #2. And we have Patrick Meloragno. I'm horrible with names. That's no secret here. So
Patrick M.
Patrick M. That's so much easier.
Yeah.
Samsonite. I do apologize. I butcher names all the time. But, yeah, people are starting to roll into the chat. Tuesday, it's springtime. It's actually chilly here in Maryland. I don't know about where you guys are, but
it was a wee bit brisk today. It felt nice though.
Yeah.
It snowed all morning in Michigan.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I forget. How far are you from Grand Rapids?
Hour and a half.
My buddy Mark from Chimera is standing in for Randy for Lamb of God tonight over there at the Iron Maiden Lamb of God show out there in Grand Rapids.
I'm sure he's doing the best he ever did.
Randy is doing. He got a light version of the COVID, but they can't let him play, so it's cool.
Yeah, and Patrick's been rocking with Simple Man's Comics for a while now, so you think I'd have that name right. So I do apologize for that, but we do have some great topics, and then of course, as I stated earlier, we don't know what the last topic is. Brian has that in his head, so if it's bad, blame him. Just put that out there. All the others you can blame Andy for. I'm just kidding. But first one we get into, do you guys know who Scott Dunbier is? Funny you should mention it. He's actually an editor for IDW Comics. He watched the scenes unfold in Russia and Ukraine. He thought he had to do something, so he founded Operation USA. nonprofit undertaking emergency relief on behalf of Ukrainians. And he then just opened his wallet. He, the senior editor at IDW, opened his Rolodex of contacts, and we have one mega comic book, 96-page full color, and I'm talking about the who's who of comic book creators, artists, writers, and it's a crowdfunding campaign. There's going to be multiple different covers by multiple different artists. You're going to have an Alex Ross cover. There's going to be an Arthur Adams cover, a Dave Johnson cover, a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. We will put the link in the chat in just a minute, but I'm excited for this. We've briefly talked about Ukraine on this show a couple times. Heart still goes out to them. They're fighting the good fight out there, but I'm excited for this, and I think it's for a great cause. What are you guys' thoughts? McClay.
I love the cover, man. That's a cool Alex Ross cover. That's a really cool cover. I don't know. It's interesting. I think I'm all for anybody that wants to put their what is the saying? Put your money where your mouth is, right? So, and they're definitely doing it. And you know what? I also have respect for people that talk about what they believe in, right? Sometimes it's also I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm also on the other end where I'm like, I just want to hear about comics. It's a weird topic, right? If it's something that you kind of feel good about, you're probably a little bit more towards saying it's okay. And sometimes when you're not, you're like, oh, I just want to talk about comics. It's an interesting topic.
I mean, you bring a good point. Depends on the mood you're in, because a lot of people use comics to escape, and but like I said, some of the names involved here, we got Brent Anderson, June Brigman, Kurt Busiek, Howard Chaykin, Joshua Dysart, sorry, Mark Evanier, Emil Ferris, Dave Gibbons, Rob Gilroy, John Layman, Gabriel Rodriguez, Dan Sakai, Louis Simonson, Walt Simonson, Chris Sprouse, Jill Thompson, Matt Wagner, Mark Waid, and a bunch more. So it's kind of like your Comic-Con circuit is getting together to make a comic book to raise funds for Ukraine.
Did they say how it's going to be available?
So it's a crowdfunding campaign. I just put the link into the live chat, and the link is I added it to the outline late. I'll put it in the private chat as well. So if we want to bring it up.
Zoop
here on the screen. Yeah, I mean it's been on the news forever. How long has it been going on? Like I want to say like
40 weeks,
days, right?
Or 45 days. Sorry, not 40 weeks. 40 days.
Yeah,
man. I not to get too into it, but I feel like the last couple of weeks we haven't heard as much as we did in the beginning, and it sounds like it's still going crazy over there. And it's interesting to see these things kind of pop up and kind of remind you of what's going on. We kind of forget the craziness that's going on, and on the whole media feed.
Yeah, and then you're seeing what is presented as there's some huge atrocities they're uncovering over there.
Yeah. Scary, man.
What do you think, Alberto?
I mean, exactly like McClay said, somebody's standing up and putting their money where their mouth is, or
yeah,
kind of that adage. There's a lot of good that comes out of the comic book community from the creators, and this is right here one of those big things that can happen. And I feel like if this link gets shared quite a bit, some good things are coming, and we might be surprised to see where this goes.
Now, Dan. I said El Dan.
Hey, what's up?
Biggity Dan.
What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. It's like an anthology series, probably. I like books like this in general. I don't know. 9/11, there was a book they made a book like this, right? I feel like that Superman Peace on Earth book reminds me of this cover or whatever. I don't know. It reminds me of the crew of people that'll work on a comic book legal defense fund book, sort of, actually, more than anything. Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing. It's good to show support for something and get something together and galvanize a community. I'll probably check it out. I'm all for charity books.
Yeah, I didn't see. Well, it's probably in there, but I didn't see when the actual when you'd get the book.
Yeah, that's what I was searching through to try and see.
I
And you
think that,
said
like,
It's raised. There was a $35,000 goal. It's raised 57,000 so far with 493 supporters, and there's 30 days left.
well, what's cool is there's a bunch of new, like there's new Astro City story by Kurt Busiek. There's obviously a Gru by Sergio Aragnonis. American Flag by Chaikin.
You can get signed covers, soft covers. So
I think the feeling that you kind of get from everyone is kind of like it's unexpected, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it's cool. You want to be positive to it, but it's not like jumping out to you as like the most amazing thing. I mean, it's cool. I'm glad glad to see someone's doing something good, but it's not gonna make me super excited to go pick it up. A good cover, good work. Hopefully, there's some good stuff that comes out of it, and it's good for a good cause. But I think that's about the basis of it.
But here's the thing, also though, I'll flip it on its head with you for a little bit. Is $96 or $60. There's the Bill Sienkiewicz art isn't out there yet, but here I think that with these prices the way they are, you're definitely buying it to contribute to the cause, where the prices are at a spot where it's. The good thing about what you guys are saying is it's not a highly flippable book that I see. So you're not going to see people buying it and just flipping it, which is great either way, I guess, because the money's still going to the cause, and then
go to the art
on
Adam
top of it. But
yeah,
I see people that buy this book. One, really like the creators. Then two, it's just, hey, they want to give money to the cause for Ukraine.
That's interesting, man. Well, what's also interesting about it is that all of these IPs are they creator owned, and that's why they're doing it, because some of these you see like, Chew I wonder if Chew if you sign with Image, just Image, say whether you can do stuff like this, and there's a lot of properties that you kind of wonder, would they be allowed to do it if they were on a bigger publisher? Right.
Yeah. I want a Walt Simonson Thor story for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that say Star Jammers? What did it say?
Star
Slammers. Man. Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting. There's Stan Sakai. Little Stan Sakai. Well, I wonder, you hear about these and you start wondering, is this going to be the norm from now on? Going through crowdfunding campaigns for your books and stuff.
What if they introduced a new character in it?
That's a great idea, to be honest.
Make it a spec book.
Yeah, well, or make it, just. It's hard to make something really iconic in the comic world unless you have multiple pages to write a good story, or have a first appearance in it, right? And you're not going to probably be able to write a huge, great, amazing story in this with the amount of pages you have to tell the story. Some guys probably could, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if you
it
had
would be called a short story.
Or Ukrainian man.
Yeah, there's your first appearance.
Yeah.
Do you remember there was a book that what was his name? He used to always he was Alex Ross's he worked all the cons for Alex Ross. Sal Avenanti, I think was his name. He had a comic he did, and it was like a total Russian comic like this, where the character was like this Russian, monster type thing. And it'd be interesting to see, like, if I wanted to hear what people say, like, that have those characters right now, you know what I mean, that wrote those stories, those pro-Russian stories, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm off topic.
No, I mean, you're good. I mean, I don't know if I have the disposable income. I'm gonna take a look when I can. I want to see what the Bill Sienkiewicz cover looks like. It's the one that I'd be eyeing. and they don't have the cover up for that yet. The Sienkiewicz. But anyway, moving on. We mentioned IDW for the longest time, mostly known for licensed properties. They've gotten into their original series. I mean, a big one that comes to mind to me, of course, would be Kanto, but they're going back to the well, and they're promising 9 new original series coming from IDW with such creators as what they got Scott Snyder in there. We have Willow Wilson, John Ridley. There's a whole bunch of more. I'm excited because I think building your own IP and a lot of those, that's why I like indie books, right? The Scott Snyder one looks to be, it looks like what they're anchoring to, and it's going to be called Dark Spaces Wildfire, and it's basically about a bunch of group of female inmate firefighters that are planning a heist of a burning mansion deep in California from wildfires. I don't know where they get a crazy idea about wildfires in California. That never happens.
It's a crazy female inmate. Say it again.
It's a group of female inmate firefighters that are planning a heist of a burning mansion deep in California that is smoldering from wildfires. So wildfires going on, female inmate firefighters, and they're going to rob the mansion. It doesn't say how many issues. It says an unannounced length. And the good thing is it's going to have interior art by Hayden Sherman. So there's a whole bunch of other ones in here. Golgotha Motor Mountain, 5-issue limited series. High Octane Redneck Motor Massacre. I'm on board. 2 meth cooking brothers attempt to make it home alive as comic alien horrors are hot on their trail. Sign me up.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, too high. It said high strung or something like that. It's like, what are they?
It's like Ricky Bobby Breaking Bad, man.
I'm gonna take some meth to the bottom of the car.
Yeah. Earth Divers looks pretty cool too. That's
by
Stephen Graham Jones. Indigenous survivors in apocalyptic near future. The quartet attempt a bloody one-way mission to save the world by traveling back in time to kill Christopher Columbus and prevent the creation of America.
Huh.
So
blasphemy.
And yeah, I mean, I see this. We've seen Dark Horse doing some more of their own indie type books with Last Flight Out. I think a lot of these series that they're announcing will pick up some of that readership. But what do you guys think about it?
I think it's a good idea. I think IDW can. What does IDW stand for anyway?
Of course, you have to ask now.
But they're sort of a major publisher, and like they have sort of a lot of headway. And if they can introduce a line of really cool books, I think I'm all for it. I love their paper quality. I love their paper quality. Yeah, I'm excited. I love when IDW does original stuff.
So what is that right there?
We'll actually have what IDW. It's like, well, and the big thing also is that's not. If in case you weren't aware, they've gone through. They've had some bad. They've had a bunch of shakeups at the leadership level, right? I think they've gone through multiple high-level positions. Industrial. And then at one point they said, "Hey, we're not a publisher. We were an entertainment company," and they were trying to go heavy into not just media, but it seems like TV show, movie stuff like that. And we also know that it looks like they're set to lose the G.I. Joe license. Someone's going to win that in December. I haven't heard much about Transformers, but is Transformers going to stay with IDW, or is that going too? So this could be them saying we need to diversify our portfolio. But
it's because Transformers they're robots in disguise, so you won't hear a whole lot.
Yeah. Asshole.
Where's that drum set, man? Come on.
He's on his practice pad now.
I didn't know if it was loud. I gotta turn it up a little bit. There you go.
I think it's just the title because I've only heard about G.I. Joe, but that's what made me think if it's all Hasbro is one going and then we haven't heard the other one. And we also know, I mean, we talked about here. I know Skybound was one of the big ones that was going after G.I. Joe.
Mhm.
And IDW lost Star Wars, right? They're losing all the
Yep.
Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, if they lose Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's all but slow death.
Yeah, because when you said they lost Star Wars, didn't they lose? Isn't it even the all ages stuff that they've been doing, right? Was it Dark Horse getting that?
Yep.
Marvel and shitty paper. But
Well, it's funny because this is what you have to do if you're in their position, right? You got to try and come up with something new that you can have catch on and be good. So throw out like 10 different stories and hopefully one hits.
yeah,
There
I
was a
think
few
one of the
stories, like the one you read about the girls that were inmates or firefighting. It's just, it's. I mean, maybe
Look at
it's also,
Saga.
I don't know, but it's just like it just seems like it's really okay. We got to really go down this descriptive deal to try to figure it because it is hard to find original things nowadays.
But with Scott Snyder's writing on that, I'm excited to see it. And
the-
I think the best we've seen this model work because who's done it best so far? I mean, I'm a homer of them, but you could take Boom Studios and just they were the kind of like the benchmark where they had a bunch of licensed properties. They still do, but they started creating their own books with some great creators. And now you have a bunch of people like they have some great series. And I still think some of the series that are overshadowed, I won't say underappreciated, but Seven Secrets and Once and Future are still two of my favorite series that you don't hear as many people talk about, but they had stuff before that, right? I mean, Bone Parish, we talk about a lot. You sit there and go down a whole list. Of course, everyone knows, Something's Killing the Children, which I almost brain farted on that, but I'm excited, and I like IDW, and as you said, they do have quality books. They do have good paper, and I hope we also get to keep seeing more Kanto because David Booher and Drew Zucker are two of the nicest guys in comics.
Listen to this. It says there's a comic they're putting out called Sinbin. The Sinbin, a 6-issue limited series, stars a washed-up hockey player, Dale Duquesne, whose second job during away games is monster hunting with his daughter Kat, along with for the hunt in search of their mother's killer. What? That sounds like a Mad Lib, bro. That sounds like they had like dice and okay, all right, if this number comes up, we're gonna have like it's gonna be a football, a baseball, or a hockey player. All right, roll. All right, if this number comes up, he's gonna be going after, it's like it doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah. If you
I'm all for it. Let's do it.
If you were to, out of those that you looked at, is there one that you like? Let's say, I'm on board for that one.
I like
This one right there with the Arca. What is that?
I'm definitely on board for the Meth
the
Brothers.
meth one. Yes, for sure. That's craziness. Anytime you involve meth and aliens, I'm in.
The firefighter one is a story like a lot of people have been trying to do for a while. The inmate firefighters, they're like pretty famous, and with a heist, I mean, this is like spec worthy.
Yeah, you can definitely see that one getting adapted.
Yeah.
What is the one below it? What's the one below this?
That looks like Clerks.
Yeah, it does, right?
I like
a
the
version of
Columbus
Clerks.
one, the one about stopping Columbus. I love that kind of stuff.
Yep.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, because it kind of reminds. It's like, well, I won't say it's history, but
Earth
I like
Divers.
historical fiction.
Yeah, this looks cool with the cover. Looks really, really good. And I think that's
Well, and it's
Albuquerque
weird because
cover.
if you look at that cover, it looks like the cover would go to the next one, right? Because it's like a Earth Divers. It looks like kind of a pirate cover. I guess it's the Columbus ships. But then the next one below it, what was the next title, right? Dead Seas. So I was like, did they mix the covers up? But no.
I'm looking forward to this Earth Divers. Just that kind of idea of a how do they phrase that? That near future, apocalyptic near future. The quartet attempt a bloody one-way mission to save the world by traveling back in time to kill Christopher Columbus.
Oh yeah.
That there's just enough sci-fi with just enough like McClay was saying, a little bit of history, a little bit of sci-fi, and maybe even a little bit of horror based on looking at the cover. It's I'm kind of eyeing that one.
Yeah, when I was first reading the solicit, it had me thinking of the '80s movie Time Bandits.
Yeah, I mean, look how cool that cover is. Holy cow, that's a good cover.
I wish it would let me click on them and. Oh, that didn't work.
Yeah, it's a good one. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Paper shortage? What paper shortage?
Yeah, I don't know. Like you guys were talking about paper quality and IDW. I actually have been buying the Turtles run constantly from IDW for several years now, and it's better than Marvel, but it's nowhere near what Boom puts out. It's acceptable. We'll see what they do for this volley. See if they start working to stand out like Boom did, and some other cardstock stuff.
Yeah, it also depends on who their printers are. I mean, a lot of times that's the stuff that would drive me insane.
The last Ronin, we really mean it this time.
The last Ronin.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die before they finish that series.
But yeah. But speaking of indie books,
like V, it's like meth is like the sunglasses, and what was that movie with Roddy Piper?
Oh,
They Live. Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it They Live? Yeah.
My brain shuts down in the evening.
Hey, I have a good excuse. Where's your excuse?
I don't know. I'm just burnt. I'm mentally burnt out.
Amen.
But yeah, keeping with the indie flow this week, Black Box Comics, El Beardo, they got a new book coming out too. And I don't think there's a lot of people that are familiar with that publisher, Black Box.
No, Black Box is known for the Psycho List, I think was one of the ones that we talked about.
Psycho List and Gen Hunter and Militia was a good one. They put out some great stories, and their small publisher, Devil's Dominion, was good, and their stories are great, and they have great creative teams from other indie publishers. Like there's a lot of Mad Cave authors. Brian Hawkins, who's also an editor at Mad Cave. Jay Sandlin, who's wrote Over the Ropes. But they have a new book coming out, and then they're actually on Diamond's Final or Cutoff now, I believe, too. So I think that always helps those indie publishers. But tell us a little bit about this book, bro.
That explains why I was starting to see some of the Black Box books in my LCS where I haven't seen them before, and I'd have to go out of my way to pre-order those. But martial arts meets the supernatural in Black Box's Ninja Gaiden, if I pronounced that correctly. This is pretty interesting. It's celebrating its 5th anniversary with Ninja Gaiden. Black Box is a new ongoing series featuring martial arts and some supernatural twists. CBR has that exclusive preview of Ninja Gaiden, which comes from writer Eric Palecki, artist Lucas Mayer, and colorist Michael Bartolo. And I'll keep butchering names, but publisher and creators. And the new series follows Yuki Snow, an unlikely ninja who mysteriously finds himself fighting against the supernatural. This kind of sounds interesting. I'm not really one for kind of like supernatural and ghost stories, but you throw on a super BA ninja suit like that and start going to town. The premise of the story is the suit allows him to see, touch, and feel ghosts at that point. So, Patrick Swayze, eat your heart out.
Yeah, can you pull up the link for the actual article? They have some of the covers there, and there's a variant on that looks freaking gorgeous.
Yes, 1 second. You have all set up for something else. Oh, nope, wrong button.
Kaiden sounds almost like a racial slur.
In another language?
No, just like Kaiden. You Kaiden.
No. Well, I was thinking Ninja Gaiden. Like
Yeah.
And
I
this
guess that's what we're
also to
all
me when I was
thinking.
reading the solicit, talking about indie comics, and we've talked about it before in here, which I wish Tomlin was here today, but Mad Cave Studios Honor and Curse was a great story with Samurai and Supernatural. Here we're getting Ninja and Supernatural, but that third cover,
They all look good, dude.
that one right there looks freaking
Yeah.
cool. So, and you're getting a lot of similar looks, right? Between, I mean, you get like the Snake Eyes look. It also kind of reminds me a little bit Radiant Black.
Mhm.
That first
I
one on
thought-
the left on the second row is pretty cool.
I thought it was a takeoff of Radio Black at first.
But yeah, it's small publisher out of New York. They put out some great stories that Double O put in there.
Oh, they're in from New
As
York.
well. I actually have, I won't tonight, but next show I have some actual variants from Black Box, and we'll give them away in the next show. How about that? But this is one, and it's weird because I don't normally see websites like CBR, some of these bigger sites talk about Black Box Comics. Usually it's us smaller lads on YouTube channels talking about these books. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that news start to spread a little bit. I'm excited to see Black Box books get more publicity, and I'm definitely picking this one up because I like to support that publisher.
Amen.
That's a good point. That normally it's a lot of people on YouTube talking about a publisher like this, whereas CBR picking it up makes you kind of wonder.
Yeah, isn't CBR owned by CBS? Or is that comicbook.com? One of them's owned by CBS Interactive.
Yeah, one of them is owned by it. I think it might be CBR. I think because CBR got bought out.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, like Newsarama or whatever got bought by Games Radar, right?
Yeah.
But,
That was the place to go back in the day.
so yeah, I mean, let us know in the chat, let us know in the comments if this is a book that interests you guys, if it's something you might be picking up. And like I said, if you some of the other series from Black Box Comics are great as well. Biggs and Tiny. Devil's Dominion was fantastic. Once again, I said written by Brian Hawkins. Gen Hunter. Of course, they started out with IT, The Secret World of Modern Banking. Militia was great. I read that in trade. And then, of course, they have Project Icarus. And then one of their bigger ones that actually caught a little heat was Psycho List. One thing that I do like also, which I don't see a lot of comic publishers do this, is they actually have Gospel of Jesus Christ visual presentations. You don't see too many religious comic books out there.
Yeah.
It's a touchy subject for sure to touch on.
Yeah. But even the one Double O put in there, the Shino Cage, which I probably said that wrong, that's a great book also, especially if you like samurai and stories of that nature.
Yeah. It looks good.
Yeah, slower week in news. You know, we could talk about the Thor trailer, but we're happy to talk about indie books. And Ryan, the mystery topic, before you give the mystery topic, as we got people in the chat, we're doing something new here on this platform. The last topic every week is going to be either a topic you, the viewer, put in the comments and Ryan picks out, or contact Ryan and let him know what topics you think we should talk about. He doesn't tell any of us the topics until we're live on the show, and he's going to present them, and then it's just totally instant reaction, right?
Yeah. So tonight's is kind of an easy one to kind of break everyone in. So we didn't get too much feedback from the last show. So really looking forward to hearing what you all want to hear on this particular segment, because this is the community voice essentially. But if you're American going in the bathroom and American coming out, what are you while you're inside?
What?
European.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes, Brian. I knew Brian would come through with it.
Well,
All right.
well, what if you're pooping? You're pooping?
I'll answer that next week.
We call that the pooping price hike.
Poop right. So I was talking to Zach. He works at the coffee shop I go to here locally. He's the barista that I see on it. We have a lot of conversation. He's a big Star Wars fan. And he watches a lot of the Marvel and comic book stuff. And he was saying, like, hey, Star Wars seems like it's trying to take the spotlight off of Kenobi. Like they're making all these other characters. And then we got to talking about Moon Knight. And then we got talking about, like, oh yeah, did you get tickets to
Multiverse?
Doctor Strange, whatever. Oh, and then you see the Thor. Man, there's so much stuff. I can't keep up with it all. So the kind of came to the question, like, is Disney putting out so much stuff that it's like just basically watering your, like, you're like waiting to say, okay, well, I'll just wait till later to see these things. Is that going to hurt is that going to kind of mess with the sales in the theaters? And then shouldn't they be using, like, these stories in Disney on the platform, the streaming platform, instead of like pulling out like a brand new Moon Knight, which is new to a lot of folks? Couldn't they use that time and effort and money to develop the stories that are already kind of going in the movie theaters?
Yeah, you bring up a good point, because I was just talking to Dan right before we went live about very similar, where not so much Star Wars, but I'm starting to get MCU burnout just because there's just so much going on. And then here's the thing also is, there was an article, I forget what, it might have been Newsarama or Games Radar, but talking about now, it said, like, now's the perfect time to kill off the MCU, because they're talking about, as you keep adding to it, one, it's harder to keep all those storylines intact, but two, someone new coming in, now they feel like they have to do homework because they're coming into the middle of it, even though, hey, it could be a jumping on point, but they still going to feel like, well, God, I don't want to watch it now because I'm going to have to watch 28 hours of movies to jump into this. So there is a lot, and there's something to be said. It's like, careful what you wish for type thing, because we're always, once we saw something, like, oh man, now I have to wait 3 years for this movie. But I think that's part of the good thing, because it makes you anticipate, it makes you want it, it builds on that, where now it's like, we're spoiled, man, we're JG Wentworth, we want our shit, we want it now. So where it's like, one show's ending, a new one's starting, one show's ending, a new one's starting, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, movie, streaming, or what have you.
And their schedule's even getting hard to keep up with, too, because of all the stuff going.
Well, there's like several factors that are coming to play here that I think we've kind of lost sight on. Number one, a lot of people and a lot of companies aren't willing to put all their eggs in that movie basket, right? Movies and creating movies and spending the money on movies is still quite a gamble until they see the turnouts get better this year or next year. So what we're seeing is a backlog of stuff that couldn't get finished and couldn't get released and put on the screen from COVID on movies and TVs. So you got a lot of producers and publishers. They're trying to keep from putting all their eggs in one basket. Number one, so they're cross-platforming with streaming services, with movie services. Yes, it does seem like a lot, but the last 2 years we barely got anything, and now it's all it's almost like that. Finally, you've unclogged that toilet, and whoosh, here it all comes. There you go. It's all in one shot. Like, this is going to be crazy until they find a new normal, a new rhythm. And this is how I feel, and this is how I believe. And Dank's going to have way more insight on this on the backside of things.
Say.
But
he's been warping into different places.
You know, what if the way we know the movie theater dies in the next 5 years? Hopefully it won't. But that's what they're doing, is they're trying to spread load things and find a way.
Hell no.
And let's be honest.
Who's going to save the box office? I'm telling you.
Let's be honest. You look at the 90s. Look at the late 90s and early 2000s. How many Americans were plugged to the boob tube and watching TV constantly on a regular basis? And there was TV guides and schedules. People built their lives around the schedules of the shows that came out. Look at the last 5 to 10 years. People have unplugged. People have unsubscribed. People have gotten rid of cable and satellite TV, and they're not in front of TVs watching a lot of shows and content until you get onto the streaming side of things. So it's shifting, right? Now that they're powerhousing to try to get everybody back onto the screen
too. It's only
too.
if they can binge it. And then half the stuff I don't like watching stuff at home because half the stuff you're watching at home you're not truly watching because you have this thing in your face the whole time and you're looking at tweets and likes and subscribers and views and all this other crap. And then I'm trying to watch something and
Doing the
wife's next
laundry,
next
yeah.
to me watching fucking TikToks with oh no, and I'm like Patsy Cline, and I'm like, ooh, I like Patsy Cline. It's just some dumbass video. But
Like Better Call Saul. That's a product of getting severely delayed due to COVID and many other things, and it's just finally dropping. It's been what, a 2-year wait for that Better Call Saul season?
Well, like I was thinking, like with Moon Knight, that's been a good series, and it's cool to see him as character. And it's cool to see like on, but I don't need it. If I didn't have that, it wouldn't have been like in the show. Is it developing any of their current storylines? Like okay, maybe they have Doctor Doom's castle in it or something like that, but it's only placed in there just to have some kind of relevance to what's going on. Outside of that, they could have. I just feel like they could have used the resources they have maybe to develop some of the other characters. Like why couldn't they, like if you plan on doing like a Fantastic Four or something like that, couldn't you start developing the character before they got to the where they were when they're Fantastic Four, like in some other aspect earlier in something. So the stories, they're shorter stories right now. They're sitcom like things are kind of geared to movies that are in the future.
They're panning for gold.
I think we were all kind of the idea when we first started hearing about all these shows and movies showing up that they were kind of going to have a storyline that goes through all of them, right? You're going to see characters in some, and it's like a huge storyline. The problem I think is that they've decided not to do that. I think because we just came out. There's rumors that we're only getting one season of Moon Knight. We're only getting one season of these shows, and they're not going to continue it. We might see a character here and there, but I think that's the problem, is that we really thought we were going to get a universe where you could see all these different characters and different things, and it feels like maybe they're not going to take that route. Maybe we're not seeing it, and they still are.
Like I told Dan before we came live, I've just lost that angst and excitement that you used to have when you knew movies were coming out, because it's just don't get me wrong, I'm excited for Guardians and I'm excited for Black Panther, but it's not like phase 2 MCU when you're just like
like there's some shows that like I when they first started happening, when there was like very few first, I couldn't wait to check it out. I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this tonight. Now I'm like, when I get around to it, because there's just so much other stuff to do right now.
I mean, there's so much continuity, it's so intertwined, and they have time travel and they undid death at certain points. So you're just like watching these movies, you're like, man, again, like they still got problems. They're still dealing with shit. These people, like, you lose that kind of. I mean, I think that's why Invincible did so well and anime does so well, is because you start with volume 1 and you don't need any background or any history, and you can start a new world, a new series, like from volume 1 again and again and again. And a lot of young people love that stuff, and Invincible was sort of like that too. And I think that's why DC will eventually come from behind, because they're not saddled with this continuity problem, which is like why people don't go to comic book stores. A lot of people, because they're just like, I don't know what's going on. What's the history of these characters? It's so muddled and confusing that it starts to turn people off at a certain point. It becomes more about continuity than story.
I don't know if it was here that I heard like the draw in movies and these shows was thought to push more folks into the comic shops and to sell more books, but it's been an uptick a little bit, but it really hasn't what they expected it to kind of push in there.
It's a kaiden. It's a kaiden.
And so
yeah, Solo Wookiee's right. Only having eight or 6 episodes is not. It's just going to frustrate people.
Yeah, people like to have a storyline. Like I think they saw Ozark on there or something like that. Like there's something that you're connecting direct, ready for the next season, and they could have done that with less content, less new shows, and just had like cool shows and just have them longer. And I don't think they have to have a new show on every month or have a show showing, they could have space and what does they say? Time away makes the heart grow fonder or whatever, or
Maybe it just got all swept up in the content wars, the streaming wars right now. Maybe this is just an offshoot of that. Maybe that's what we're witnessing, not necessarily. Maybe they didn't want to make this much content. Maybe it was just the streaming wars were so crazy and there's so much money going around. They're just like, let's do it. Let's just keep making shit.
I mean, they're moving the Star Wars stuff now around because of the, and I think Andy might know more, like because of the Miss Marvel or show, or maybe that's why they're moving things. They moved some of the release dates on some of that stuff. I don't know.
They moved Obi-Wan to align with Celebration Day, is what I've been told. That's the only thing that I've heard them move, because they haven't really officially announced anything else that I can think of.
Well, I know, like, since talking about stock prices, I know that Netflix is taking a beating right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how they rebound off of that.
Well, yeah, you got...
I think everyone's taking a beating, right?
Yeah.
Oatly.
Well, there's so many streaming services out there now. There's the wallet share is starting to thin out. Anywho, that was the question. I thought it was an interesting topic to discuss, and something that's everyone relevant. But so those are the type of questions or types of things that we want to get more questions around. So if you're watching it now or watching it later, add it to. I don't think you add it to the actual live show. You would actually add it to the.
Put a comment. Make sure you guys comment on the actual video.
On the actual video, yeah, not the live show, because I'm going to be looking at those the day before on Monday every day, trying to find the one to pick out. And I appreciate Zach chatting with me and giving me a good topic to talk about today.
Which that's going to bring us to New Comic Book Day tomorrow. Where you guys pick it up? McClay, we'll let you go first, but I have a feeling you're gonna.
I'm not going to be reading any comics that day, you guys. That's an important day for me. That is my Christmas, my Easter. Oh, it's actually every day for me. But I play really hard on 420. So that being said, let me share my screen with you guys so you guys can tell me what you're reading that day.
I'll go first. Which I figured for sure the Catwoman #5 Sozomaica cover.
Yep.
Just because Sozomaica is freaking awesome.
I had somebody reach out to me and ask me what they thought about that cover. And I'm going to ask you guys the same question. Would you guys buy this book here, the 1 in 25, for $30?
No.
This is the Sozomaica book. It's a 1 in 25.
I would for high grade.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel bad because when I first saw it, I told him no. And now I look at it like here and I'm like, man.
Yeah, the high grade, that black cover.
Yeah. That's a good cover. It's a good cover.
Yeah.
Well, the black's easy to scuff.
Yeah. For $30 for a 1 in 25, I did not realize it was the 1 in 25 when he asked me too. So yeah, if you're out there, brother, buy. Yeah. So that's the Sozomaica one.
There's another one cover pick.
Well, here's the Frizen, by the way, if you didn't see the Frizen. Yeah. It's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's Wonder Woman with short hair.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna say it about J. Scott Campbell, we're gonna say it about Frizen too. Draws the same
character, yeah.
Natalie Sanders, right? Draws herself and everything.
Yeah.
Still love her art. I'm not gonna.
Amen.
Say that. But,
Carla Cohen.
That canceled Scout Comics Black Caravan. Awesome horror imprint right now, right? But there's a Zoo Orzu cover in there that is freaking gorgeous.
Oh, they're not gonna let me show it.
They don't have it.
No.
Son of a biscuit.
Put it in the private chat if you see it.
Let me see if I can find it real quick for you.
Yeah, there's not a lot of books coming out this week. So I shouldn't say that. It's very heavy indie this week. Very heavy indie this week.
But you notice there's not a lot of #1s.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ongoing indie stuff.
Yep.
Here you go. I got you.
Bounce House Bazaar is the number one. I didn't look at that.
I think
There's
there's like
also
2 or 3.
The Secret History of the War on Weed,
Yep.
Yeah.
which
There
is
we go.
really unusual.
Oh wow.
That cover's
That one?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That is crazy.
And
It'd be
then
cool to own the original art for that.
Sick cover.
And then I had one more, which this is totally out of left field for me because I'm not a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but Boom Studios kicks off a new series with Vampire Slayer tomorrow, right? And it's a new story in the same universe, but Buffy's no longer the Vampire Slayer. There's going to be a new Slayer.
Is that
And,
true?
There's a Christian Ward and there's a Frank. The Francavilla cover also. That's freaking gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
um,
That's interesting. What do we got here? Here's the Del Mundo variant.
so you never know. I mean, to me, I'd pick that up and just kind of stash away and see if anything, because there hasn't been much Buffy stuff lately.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Joss Whedon thing,
I think it's a Joss Whedon thing.
but maybe with a new story. I don't know. But I definitely like the Francavilla cover. That's all I got. It was a slow week. Just some great.
Andy,
covers.
what you got?
Yeah, you want to talk about a slow week? I've got a total of 2 books on my pull list tomorrow. 2. That's it. Nice House on the Lake's going to be my read of the week.
Number 8, right?
Yep. And I don't even remember what the second book was at this time.
Star Wars.
No, there are 0 Star Wars books coming out this week.
There's the B cover. It's interesting.
We Live number 2 is coming out. That the Age of
Palladians.
Palladians. That was number 1 was a fun read. I'm gonna actually try to grab that to read too. That's
Nobody's mentioned the worst book on here that everybody's going to be trying to grab yet. All right, who's next?
What, like the Gwen thing?
I think-
The with Thor.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. This, in my opinion, is the worst book on here.
The Hulk.
Oh, is it the Hulk?
It's the Hulk.
Well, way to ruin mine, buddy.
I like the Alex Garner cover for that, just because I like Alex Garner. But you talking about the incentive?
Corrosive.
I
I'm
mean-
we're getting out. I'm gonna check it out.
Here's the
Bottom right? The 181.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of them. Drew did one. Where's Drew's? Is this
Is that
Drew's?
that weren't there the spoiler cover?
There's all kinds of them, man. There's so many covers.
Why?
It's the new characters.
Is it the female?
Yeah, this is Wanted Comics right here.
Yeah.
It's got that first Titan, full Titan character, right?
I gotcha.
This guy.
He's got electric teeth.
It's Donny Cates. That's my only problem. Donny Cates.
Yeah,
what
it's
do
what's the
Yeah,
was it Black Winter?
that's Crane, huh?
yeah. This is Crane. Here's Clayton Crane. Oh, it's gonna crap out on us. Here's Crane.
That's the anti-venom lookalike.
Bjorn.
Like I said, I like the Alex Garner cover just because of Garner. And it's
That's
like
a cool
the one that
cover.
has nothing to do with it. It's like the Hulk Spider-Man cover.
Yeah. I'm so lost with Crane, man. I really am.
Oh, I'm over Crane.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, not Crane, Cates. Cates, sorry. I'm really lost with Cates.
I like this round. I think it's cool.
I don't know what this is. Is this like the animated version or something?
So homage, duh.
Yeah, but what is
With the chains thing, that's not in the real. The
Why are you
chains
gonna homage the second appearance of Wolverine?
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm over it. Over it. Anyways, is that your pick, Ryan? Really?
Yeah, way to poo-poo my pick, but
Yeah.
I like
Dang.
Stray. It's cool. I don't care what you say.
Or Brian, since that was one of your picks, you have other picks, or is that your
No,
pick?
that was about it. I didn't see anything else. Like, there's not really a whole lot going out tomorrow. I heard that next week's freaking cray, so I'm saving money for that one.
Yeah. What do you got, Dan?
Yeah, The Secret History of the War on Weed.
The one shot. There's some good covers for that.
It's DC, right?
Image.
Image. Oh, it's Image.
Brian Posehn.
For some reason, I thought it was.
I love Scott Koblish too. Scott Koblish is the guy who did the Snake Eyes Todd McFarlane homage on G.I. Joe.
Yeah. And you got the old Deadpool writer there, so it should be a good story.
Yep. This is a really good cover right here too.
Yeah.
I love that cover. And I love how even the 30th anniversary of Image, it looks good on it. This is probably the pick of the pick for this week, right?
That's your beautiful. 420 day read right there.
Yeah. Beautiful. So there's a movie called The Secret History of War on Weed. Documentary.
That's Cheech and Chong up in smoke.
Star Trek Ferengi, issue 1. That might be fun.
Is there incentives for that? Is that a Dynamite book? Who's doing that?
IDW.
IDW.
I just like that cover.
Where is it? There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a cool cover.
Yeah.
And I hate Star Trek. But that's a cool cover.
Sweet. This just seems like a slow week.
It is, dude. I mean, there's this turtle book, but it's a reprint of all the annuals.
Maybe it's because it's tax week.
Yeah.
Nick, you weren't kidding. Next week is a big week.
Refrigerator Full of Heads, number 6. What's this here?
Loaded. It's gonna be a wallet breaker.
Stephen King's son, right?
Nice.
Anybody reading this series?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Not much coming out.
Has a new series coming out tomorrow too. But
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Forgotten Myths number 2. Aerosmith Behind Enemy Lines.
Yeah, back in the saddle.
Yeah.
Back in the saddle,
Oh, yeah. Not a very busy new comic book day tomorrow.
That's for sure.
The cold in the shower cover. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's just gonna leave us with one more thing.
Yes.
One more thing, McClay. What do you got for us?
I have reached 636 subscribers on the new page, and we're 364 subscribers away from 1,000. So I've decided I've got to figure out what to do for 1,000. We got to do some type of giveaway, right? So trying to figure out the big giveaway for 1,000. Yeah. So once we do that, we'll figure out what it is. But if you get a chance, go check out the new channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Had a lot of people reach out to me that still don't know I have the new channel started. So if you get a chance, share it. If if you got somebody that you can show it, and let's get to 1,000 subs as fast as possible. I've already hit the 4,000 hours, which is nice. Wow. And I've already hit the everything else. Just need the subs, and then we start rocking. We got some really cool plans for post 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Keep on rocking the free world.
Amen.
Just not Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh, Beardo.
Ooh. tomorrow looks like a perfect day to take the day off from YouTube content. I've only got a couple of books I'm pulling, so I'll kick back. I'll read those. I got a couple of things lined up for the tail end of the week. So my one more thing is there's a Whatnot auction this Friday, and I've got a new artist coming on that has never been on before, and I'm really looking forward to that. He's got a really good idea for a cover that he shared with me, so we're going to be live sketching a cover on Whatnot with this artist while I put up books for sale at the same time. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty fun. We had a blast last time with Beth, the chalk art girl, and that cover was straight fire, and it went for way more than what we thought it would. It did great. So I really think this next artist has what it takes to put out a killer cover live on Whatnot, and it's a finished product, and it's going to be pretty dope. We're going to run that at 9 p.m. Friday night and go for about an hour and a half to 2 hours maybe. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so Frugal Comics put in the chat, do you have a new channel? I did put the link to McClay's channel in the live chat there, so just check that out. And if you guys haven't, make sure you guys subscribe to that. Dang! What do you got going on your channel? Or what's your one more thing, I guess I should say?
Well, my one more thing is that I was interviewed for a podcast called the Unusual Creatures Pod. The Unusual Creatures Pod. And then they interview like artists and people like trying to be artists. So they interviewed me and I kind of coach artists and I talk about certain principles of what I do and how I coach people, stuff like that. A lot of tips. I don't know. It's a good episode, so check it out. You can check it out on Spotify and all the YouTube and podcasting apps and whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, Unusual Creatures Pod.
Have to check that out. Always like your words of wisdom.
They're
Let's
very
see.
inspirational.
Thank you.
Sometimes I do things that I think, what would Dan do in this situation?
Yes. He would make Alfred a sandwich.
Yeah.
Are you staying at how long have you been staying at Seinfeld's house?
I was gonna say you guys have a nice little theme going there. And that Kramer behind you.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Wow.
You're missing the Superman in the background, Dan. Didn't Seinfeld always have like Superman in the background?
Yeah, I just wanted the most depth of field, so I positioned the camera in this section of the studio.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you got for us?
I fixed it. Did you mute me or was I already muted? Was I muted the whole time?
I can't hear you.
You
Are
were
you
muted the
talking?
whole time.
No, you aren't.
Y'all sucks. So I did put some content. I did an unboxing just last week because I always use someone else to send my CGCs about, and I did it myself this time, and I got back some cool things such as this book. This is actually what I had already this one, but I got this back and I upgraded. It's a 9.6, so I got extra one of these if someone's looking for that. But I got this. I got this one back. I was looking to upgrade this one. I have this in a 9.4. I thought this would for sure come back at least a 9.4, if not maybe a 9.6. And the guy who pressed it actually thought he'd be a 9.8. It came back a 9.0. And I can't for the life of me, except for a little bit of color rub right here at the very, very top, see why this came back a 9.0. So I'm going to probably crack it and send it back. But this is a CGC action. I did a fast track on this, and I got it back within a month. But I don't know what the deal is. This is just like has to be like a blatant mistake because a 9.0, I can't find one thing wrong with this thing except for that one spot right there. So probably gonna. I don't know if I would want to crack it and resend it back in because it is a fourth print and they're kind of rare. But yeah, that was crazy. And I just want to show off the last volume 2 that I had to get in my Grail of Grails. Was this one right here. I finally got this one in my collection. This was a very, very hard book to get and find. So really stoked to finally get this in my collection and finish off volume 4. And yeah.
Yeah, like 00 said, you get grading notes?
I know, I got to look. I didn't order any, but I know that CBCS would do grading notes for free. I don't know if they do that at the CGC.
CGC gives you graders notes for free.
Okay, so I'm gonna look up to see why they did that then.
Yeah, it's not something that you would order or ask for. If they have graders notes for it, it would be attached to your submission when you click on the submission number.
Okay, then I'll look into that for sure because I cannot for the life of me figure out what's up with that one. But This came back in '96, and I don't care. So this was an amazing find. There's like less than 50 of these, I think, known to exist.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I'm sick on that. But yeah, that's one more thing.
One more thing. I found something interesting out this week. You guys familiar with the movie Bodyguard?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
Houston.
sword scene.
Yeah,
sexy.
right. The Dolly Parton song. Do you know who was responsible for getting that song in the movie? Take a guess.
Eric Clapton.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner was the one. So I watched Clive Davis documentary on Netflix. Awesome documentary.
I'm gonna
If you
go
like
watch
music,
that. Yeah, music documentaries are the best.
Yeah,
Any
Soundtrack
music
of Our
documentary.
Lives. Clive Davis worked with everyone in music. I'm telling you, but they were talking about his relationship with Whitney, talking about the movie Bodyguard, how she wanted to be an actor. He saw the cut and was like, "There's no music," so he was like, he wrote a letter like Kevin Costner and stuff's like, "Movie's good." And then Kevin Costner's like, "I agree." And then they started picking out songs, and Kevin Costner's like, "Hey, how about this Dolly Parton song?" And that's how it got in the movie. I had no idea that that's how it got in the movie.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
so,
cool.
Crazy. That's my one more thing. One more thing. Chelsea is playing tomorrow night. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern against Arsenal. Getting to the end of the Premier League season. So super excited for that. And with that being said, make sure you guys, if you want a topic discussed on the show, you put a comment in the video, not in the live chat, put an actual comment. So Ryan will be checking those, and he's not telling us which one he picks. It's going to be, we're going to find out the same time everyone else does. I think that was a good thing. It's something we can grow on. So appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in every week, everyone in the live chat. Slow week this week. I will fully admit it. The topics weren't the best. They were great to talk about from a comic standpoint, but didn't really move the needle.
Well, it's good to hang out, though.
Yeah.
Amen.
With that being said, appreciate each and every one of you. Brian Simpleman's Comics, and we will see you guys next week.
He just left. He just left.
Look, they talking like they don't know a king when they see one. See him in person, he take it back like a refund. Ballin' with my brothers, all my playing D1. Daily checking chicken, he gon' spin it watching rerun.